YouTubies. This is Bob Hickman. It is so good to be back with you. Well, guys, I want to apologize for being so late in getting out messages from the spirit world. I've had family emergencies over the last week. Both of my parents ended up in the hospital. It's a long story, which I'll probably do a whole different video on. Anyways, they're both better now. They were both in intensive care. My mother lost the ability to walk. My father ended up hemorrhaging internally, had a heart attack, very serious stuff. But you know, as I always say, when we can't do anything, we offer it up to God. And so I spent the last week a lot in prayer and a lot just being present and helping them. And the good thing is they're both on the mend. Many of you follow me on Instagram know about this. I was able to post it there. I was out of town, did not have access to an internet connection. So that's why I also encourage you guys, if you haven't, join my Instagram. I'm going to put the link below because it's there that I always keep regular posts up when I can't get to the internet, because I can easily post through my phone there. So anyways, guys, thank you for all your prayers. I love you guys. And if you haven't seen our recent video, my last video was the UFO prophecies for 2015. And not to brag, but if you see that video, I mentioned in there about New Mexico being a hot spot. And interestingly, while I was away, there have been 4 major sightings over New Mexico. So you might want to go research 2015 UFO sightings over New Mexico. Interestingly, I predicted it before this happened. So anyways, it's interesting. We're starting to see stuff. So we're going to have more on that. Anyways, letters have been coming in. I know you guys are anxious for messages from the spirit world. So we're going to do that. But before we get into that, give me just a moment and let me attune to the spirit world. Okay? I hear my trusty spirit God Fletcher back here. He says hello to all of you. All right. Our first letter today is from Sophia K. And she says, Psyche Bob, I recently lost my job, and ever since then I've been having weird dreams. What does this mean? And do I have any past lives? Hi, Sophia. Well, first of all, hon, I'm sorry about your job loss. And, you know, but I have to tell you, that's actually a blessing in disguise. And I know right now it doesn't seem like it, but from an energy place, you were done there. And I think if you really look at your own heart, you'll say, you know, it really was time for change. So I do see transition around you here. And I want you to watch, because as we get into mid-February, this is where I'm starting to see some doorways open up around you. I want you to focus on some type of work where you have more creativity. I feel like where you weren't really getting to express yourself. And I'd like you to put your focus on something where you get to work in something like marketing or creative design, something like that. That's where you're going to have the most success. Now, in regards to your dreams, these are simply anxiety dreams. You're having a lot of stress. I don't see them as ominous, warnings, any omens, nothing bad like that. It's really more you're just releasing a lot of tension, and it's coming out in dreams. In terms of past life, I do feel you will, as things settle down, start to connect stronger to that. And you had a past life in China, actually, and it was in the early 1900s. You were there during the Boxer Rebellion times. You were a female in that life. You were connected to weaving. You did weaving of clothing, weaving of baskets. You're an artisan in that life. And that's where your creative energies come over from. So I do see mid-February's turning point. But remember what I said about working with that creative energy. That's going to make a real difference for you. Okay? Thanks for writing. All right. Our next letter is from Dave's TV broadcast. And Dave writes, he says, "Hey, Bob, any romance for me coming anytime soon?" Hi. Yes. I want you to watch. It's around March of this year, around March 2015. I do see a connection. I see a lady in your long dark hair, almost like black, beautiful shiny hair. The name starts with a V. It's like Vivian or Victoria, Vicky. It's a V name, but I see you meeting her. And it's strange because you're meeting at a place that looks like it's like a sports place, like a bowling alley or an arcade, but there's a group of people, there's a lot of activity. It feels like it's kind of a group of gathering. It could be a party, but it's around March. I see that for you, okay? Hope that helps. Keep me posted. Blessings. All right, our next letter is from Emily Lance. And she says, "Thank Bob, you can call me Emmy." And she says, "I've always dreamt of the fae and of angels. My parents are atheists and don't believe in any of this, and they want me to be like them. But I feel that there is more to this world, and I'm not satisfied with atheism. Also, is there any past life connection to all of this?" Yeah, actually, you know what's happening is you are in a family of disbelievers in order to bring light to them. Sometimes what happens is advanced souls get put in difficult circumstances so that they can learn to grow, learn compassion, and model it to other souls. You're actually an older soul than your parents because you have a very strong awareness of spirituality. And you are connected to the angel and the fae, angels and the fae. You're not crazy, and you do sense them. They're around you. Your past life was actually, it looks as around the late 1800s, early 1900s. I do want to put a Victorian/Edwardian era. You were a young girl, is what I see, and you came from a family of spiritualists. Your parents in that life were both spiritualists, and you attended seances with them. And that's where you have that draw to the spiritual world. It comes over from that last life. Excuse me, guys, I'm having allergies today. But that's where I see the connection here, okay? But anyways, I want you to meditate. Keep talking to the angels. They're literally around us. You know, I talk to Fletcher all the time. Sometimes I don't like what he says, but I talk to him anyways. And you have a guide around you also. There's actually a young girl around you. She's from that lifetime during the Victorian time. And her name, interestingly, is Elizabeth. She's one of your spirit guides. So say, "Okay, Liz, let's go down to the pond and watch for the fairies," and she'll be with you. And she'll help you to tune your psychic senses, okay? But don't be, don't be upset if your parents don't understand this. Remember, you're there to bring the light to them, and you don't have to preach to them. Simply live in your truth. Sometimes people say to me, "Psychic Bob, when people meet me in person, they're like, it's so peaceful around you." And I don't have to preach spirituality. I just live it, and it really makes a difference. So you just be the light. You don't have to talk about the light, and that'll make a difference. God bless you, dear. Thank you so much for writing. All right, our next letter is from No Use for a Name. That's a good handle. I like that. She says, "Say Bob, what do you see around me?" It's interesting. When I step into your light, I'm getting a lot of orange light here around you. Orange light's the creative light. This means that you have an artist energy and an artist theme in this life. And I feel like this 2015 for you is very much about expressing your creativity and enhancing it. You have also very strong performer energy here. And I feel that anything you do in the performing arts, be it music or acting, speaking, this is really where success is for you. And you want to embrace your own messages and take those to the world. I do see 2015 you really manifesting that light. Hope that helps. Thanks for writing. All right, our next letter is from Angelo Adrian. He says, "Psychic Bob, what are the angels or the guides or the fae trying to tell me?" Well, Angelo, it's interesting because I actually get all three around you. I get angels, Archangel Michael's around you, and Archangel Gabriel. I get fae around you. You got a lot of fae, and it's interesting whenever you walk outside, it's like little sparkles around you is what I pick up. So, you know what? They're really talking to you. 2015 for you is the year of freedom. I feel like when I go back on your spirit chart over the last year, I feel like you've been feeling restricted in some way, kind of bound. And I think that sense of being constricted is closing now. And now you're coming into a place where you're free. And your spirituality and your spirit connection's really stepping up here. So, you know, I want you to be thinking about actively working your mind. You say to me in your letter also, you mentioned down here at the bottom, that you say, how do I know they're communicating with me? Is it just in my mind? Well, the spirit people actually work through the mind. And if you practice listening to those voices, pretty soon it will become very clear. You'll start to say, wait, that's not my thought, that's another voice. You know, when I first heard Fletcher, it sounded like my voice. But then as I listened more closely, the tone shifted, and I'm now able to hear him in a very different frequency. And clearly I know when he's talking. So it's really a matter of listening carefully and asking them to make their voices stronger and clearer. And they will shift the frequency to where you'll really know it's a different voice. Okay, but no, I do see a lot of yellow light here around you, which really indicates a lot of growth this year, a lot of mind power, and I do think you're going to be very, very pleased with your spiritual growth and your freedom. And I think there's financial freedom and emotional freedom as well, because it seems like you've been doing some emotional healing also, and that's taking very well. Your light's very clear. Blessings to you. All right, our next letter is from Liz Griffin. She says, thank you, Bob. When will my anxiety go away? Well, you know, Liz, that's a good question. Your anxiety right now is a fear that you're carrying. It's a fear of abandonment. And really that comes over, that's some past life stuff, because right now you're about at an age where I feel that you crossed in your past life. And it's interesting because, you know, the anxiety will go away when you realize that there's really nothing bad happening or going to happen. As a psychic, I can tell you that the next few months really are chances for great healing of the spirit for you. I feel like you've been feeling kind of lost, and this fear of abandonment is heightened because you're actually increasing your psychic ability now. And as that power is expanding, it's opening up all those, you know, doorways also to the past. And this is sometimes a struggle as we grow spiritually, because, you know, it's like we want to open that door, but when we do that, you know, everything else comes rushing in. Well, listen, nothing bad's happening to you, and you're going to be okay. But I want you to work on grounding right now, and I would work with black tourmaline. This is the gemstone I'd like you to work with. I think that's the one that's going to be the best for you at this time. That'll ground that energy, and it still keeps your psychic current strong. Okay? Thanks for writing. Our next letter is the Fizzy 88. Says, say, Bob, am I an old soul or a young soul? What about past lives? Yeah, you're actually an old soul, and you've had a lot of lifetimes. In fact, your most recent lifetime was in the 1930s. Now, in that lifetime, you were a female. Now, we've all been male, we've all been female, so don't worry about whether you're male or female. It's not that big of a deal. But you were in the 1930s, and you were actually a model in that life. You were a cigarette girl. You had a performer theme in that life. And I bring that over because you're also carrying a performer theme and an artist theme in this life. Performer theme and artist theme are actually very close. Sometimes artist themes take more of a, you know, tangible expression like painting or sculpture, and performer is more vocal or music oriented, but you actually have both, and that comes over from your last life. So yeah, you're an old soul, and the reason why is not just because you've had a number of lives, but also the spacing. See, you died in the 1930s. It's actually a car accident. And you're back, and so you didn't even have 100 years between lifetimes. So when you do close lifetimes, like back to back, within 100 years, That's an old soul sign. So you're an old soul, and you're carrying back. You're back to carry out your performer thing. Blessings to you. All right, our next letter is from Kyla Skretig. I hope I write it in my writing here. I made a note. And she says, Psyche Bob, I adore you. Oh, you're sweet. Thank you. Your videos are fabulous. Oh, blessings. That's so sweet. I believe in what you're saying about the gang stalking. You are loved. I will pray for you. Well, Kyla, thank you. You know, the gang stalking is still occurring. I am still being assaulted. I'm going to do some videos in the coming weeks about that. But for right now, I'm okay. But it is still occurring. Thank you for your prayers. I need all of your prayers. By the way, Kyla, also, I have to tell you, you've got a lot of purple light around you. And purple light is the spirit light. That means you're open in your psychic gifts, your mediumship. So God bless you. Keep working with that energy. Be meditating. I see a lot of power around you. So I definitely take your prayers. Thank you so much. All right. Our next letter is from Kristen Waters. Hello, Kristen. I know Kristen. She's from over on Instagram. Hello, dear. I'm glad you're here at YouTube also. And she says, say, Bob, what do you see around me? Or do you have anything that Spirit wants me to know? Yeah. You know, Kristen, I got to tell you, I'm getting around you right now a lot of orange light, a lot of silver light, a lot of blue light, particularly royal blue. This means right now you're at a crossroads where you're coming into your power. I feel there are going to be some financial changes for you. And as we get closer to March, April timeframe, I feel like you're going to be moving into kind of a new direction in the career area. And like I was mentioning to somebody earlier, that orange light also means a lot of creative power. And I want you to embrace your creativity and really make that the focus of career change. Doesn't mean I don't see you being fired or thrown in the street, but it's like you're having opportunities to look at other options. And as we get in the spring, that'll pick up. And ask yourself, am I embracing creativity? Royal blue light also means a lot of power in your speech, very strong communicator energy. So you want to be in a position where you kind of put your opinions forward and you are heard. And that's where you'll be successful. Silver means more money too. So there's some money for you coming in the coming months. Okay? Hope that helps. Blessings to you. All right, our next letter is from Mirror and Reverence. Myrrh, like the herb, the incense. Myrrh and Reverence. I like that. She says, hi, Bob. I'm wondering about my next job. I'm so nervous about this next phase. What do you see around it? You know, you've got, like, very similar to Kristen, you know, the one I just read. You have a lot of orange light here, a lot of creative light. And you also have a lot of blue. Blue is actually the predominant color. This means you have a communicator theme on your chart. And I want you to focus on a job where you're exchanging ideas. You do very well in something where you're either teaching classes, doing training, helping people. Like you could be like, you know, working in HR, helping people understand their benefits, or, you know, doing training. Any of that's really where I see a lot of success for you. And interestingly, this energy also is very independent around you. So if you want to take that into another direction, such as your own consulting firm, your own practice, that also would be very successful for you. But you have to be in a job where you're doing a lot of interaction, a lot of talking, communicating, because you're not one of these people who just be in the back room crunching numbers. That just won't work for you. You've got to be more involved, more active. And I see you doing that. And I feel like as we get closer to the, you know, around April, May time frame, close to early summer, that's where that really kicks in for you. So don't rush it right now, hon. Just take your time. You're moving in the right direction. All right? Remember your communicator theme. Blessings to you. All right, our next letter is from Bob V. And he says, thank you, Bob. What color is my aura? Well, you know, Bob, that's a good question. You know, I first have to preface this with our aura changes all the time. So what I see today may not be the same color as tomorrow, but some colors tend to be predominant, and as I look at your aura today, I get silver light around you, and as I project forward, that seems to be a color that's very consistent in the coming months for you. Silver light in my readings means issues around money or finance. So I feel like as we go through the next 2-3 months here, some issues come up around you connected to money. I feel this is issues of growth as well as long-term planning, such as retirement or investments. And so I would put some focus in that area because the energy is present for that. And I do see you being a success. So don't worry, you're not going to economically collapse. You're actually going to grow, but you got to take the steps. So I would meet with a financial advisor and look at all of that, because the energy really shows if you get into it now, you're going to grow this year, okay? Thank you so much for writing. Well, guys, that is all I'm going to get to today. Listen, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for all your prayers for my parents. Thank you for all your prayers for me as I deal with the gang stalking and the attempted murder, which it really is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back through my videos a few weeks back. There's one called The Murder of Psychic Bob by the U.S. government, and that tells it all. But anyways, I'm here. I'm still reading. I'm still living, and I love life. I love God, and I love all of you. Anyways, if you're new here, or even if you aren't new and you haven't subscribed, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button, join the Spirit channel, be part of all of our happenings here. And I hope you'll put comments in the box below. Put your questions for next week's messages from the spirit world. We got more videos coming up. Next week we're going to have more videos about prophecies. We're going to talk about the blood moon prophecies. We're going to talk about some magic. So we've got another messages. We got a lot coming up. So make sure to be back here next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is going to be about blood moon prophecies. Okay, and you don't want to miss that. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. I love you all. Blessings to you. And of course, you know, next week we'll have another messages from the spirit world.